Come on, let's get moving. We're not frozen in place after all. What's the hurry?
Looks like Timaeus isn't here today. Customers? Oh, pardon me. Are you looking for Timaeus? No. Just strange for him to not be around. Paimon always sees him standing here. I see. He was called away by Albedo a little while ago. I was called over to attend. I'm Sucrose, Albedo's assistant. If you have any alchemy-related queries, you could always ask me. I do my best to help. I'm not very good at this kind of thing. My apologies. I don't get out too often. If you need any help, just call my name. If not, I'll... Thanks. No worries. We're all clued up on the basics of alchemy, aren't we? Hey, aren't you the legendary traveler? The one who repelled Storm Terror? I've heard so many stories about you. Always wanted an opportunity to research you up close. What do you mean? Sorry, don't mind me. What am I saying? Still, you'd definitely be able to help Albedo. It is you, after all. There's that name again, Albedo! Is he also an alchemist in Mondstadt? Apologies, I never introduced him. Albedo is the Knights of Favonia's chief alchemist. But Paimon's only ever seen Timaeus teaching alchemy, so that means... Yes, he's dedicated himself to investigating the truth of this world. We often get alchemists coming to Mondstadt from all over Teyvat, seeking his help. They say that the subtlest of guidance from Mr. Albedo help. Wow! Paimon didn't know he was such a big... Still, it seems that he's encountered a problem in his research recently. Every time I see him, he has a concerned look. I'm sure that Albedo would love to hear about your incredible exploits. I know it would. Albedo is a true gentleman. He'll be sure to pay you back in equal measure for helping him out. I don't see why not. Testing the limits of living beings' capabilities is one of Albedo's... Albedo and Timaeus will be conducting research in the mountains right now. I'd love to take you both to see him, but somebody has to attend to this. I'm afraid you'll have to go to the entrance to the pass and look for him by yourselves. Look out for a refined gentleman with the presence of a Sorry. That's the best I can do. Hey, stop worrying! Wait! Sucrose is a whole lot less nervous once she gets talking about alchemy and research, huh? Anyway, let's go and look for Albedo. So here you are! Choir prep...
I've told you already, I don't go in for that kind of thing. I've got more...
Oh, but this event has commemorative significance.
Hopes? That's odd, 'cause I don't recall a fulfill the hopes of others clause in my job description.
I'm...
But what? You're the event organizer, aren't you? Do you not find it...
What do you mean?
This far out from Mondstadt at this hour? Even if you set out right now, I'll wager you'd still miss the opening ceremony. Who knows? Maybe this is someone...
Huh? Well, that can't be...
Evidence decides what people are like, not your feelings. Don't fret. Nobody's gonna blame you if you go back empty-handed. I can't imagine anyone else was delusional enough to think I was gonna show up. But if you dally any longer, you really won't make it.
You're right. It's a very important commemorative event. If I'm late, then... right, I've gotta get going.
Seems like that sister's an expert in making...
I thought I heard something. Who are you and why are you...
We'd better watch out. She seems like a dangerous villain. Or a trick...
Oh, really? I'm a member of the long-standing Favonius Church. You're an eavesdropping pixie from who knows where.
Wait, she heard that? Paimon was whispering so quietly.
And as for this outlander you seem to be following... the honorary knight that saved us from storm terror. Well then, given your status, I won't press otherwise, depending on your answer. I could have arrested you on the spot.
What? Do the Sisters of Monster have the authority to arrest people?
We can't go turning a blind eye to hidden dangers, can we? Why shouldn't sisters have a...
That doesn't sound right. But Paimon can't...
Let's talk about you. What are you doing in the mountains? If it's him you're after, I made a point of noting his tracks. Many people have made their way up after the snowstorm. Let's hope they're still there.
So, are you also looking for...
No, this is just a professional habit of mine. I sensed elemental traces in these tracks. Never hurts to be vigilant. I couldn't care what you think. Come on then. I'd like to see what he's up to anyway.
Rosaria said there were elemental traces in the tracks. They should show up pretty clearly with elemental sight.
What's the hurry?
You know, little pixie, your ability to appear and disappear at will is very interesting.
Yeah?
Af-
It's getting colder and colder. Rosaria, aren't you freezing?
Me? I'm alright. I got used to operating in adverse conditions a long time ago.
Huh? Seems like there's more to being a sister in the Favonius Church than Paimon realized. Is that Albedo? Why would he hang around a place...
The word on the street is he loves painting. He'll hang around anywhere for a good landscape. The views and scenery here are pretty good. Potential...
But can't he see those hilly churros? Isn't he in danger? Uh-oh. Looks like he startled them. Enough talk! Let's take them out of the picture first!
Cool it!
Who are you? Why did you alarm them? Thank the gods I'd already completed my painting. Would have been a shame to leave these particular hilly churls unfinished.
What's up with painting hilly churls? What makes them so interesting?
I'm afraid the answer isn't easy to explain. If you'd like to have a look at my painting, it may give you a clue.
Wow! Look at the detail! But...
You can find these hilly churls anywhere. Quite boring, in fact. Not. But take a look at this specimen. The build, the coat, and there's a distinct force at work here. In the cyclical lives of such primitive communities, such unique attributes are an indication of evolution at work. Evolution, the transition from nothing into...
Hold your horses. Something tells me we're in for a thesis and I haven't got... We found your man. I'm headed back.
questions for him? What a
So Sister Rosaria brought you. Surprising. But back to the point. From her words, it's...
We met a girl in Mondstadt, Sucrose. She said you were stuck with your
I see. So Sucrose sent you here. Then, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the honorary knight. I've heard a bit of everything. Your actions during Storm Terror's attack. I'll skip to the conclusion. There's only one possibility after all. Excellent. If I could procure your assistance, I think... forgive me. This must be confusing. Where should I be?
Whoa, you want to start with that?
You're right. Giving a... For example, awakening life. Breathing new life into fallen leaves.
You can do that?
However, I have a particular seed in my possession. It's like you, in that it hails from another world. Helping it to grow, to bloom.
Well, if you're struggling to figure it out...
I beg to differ. I'm unable to comprehend the intricacies, but you're not from the known world. By observing and researching you, I may just...
Shall we just get out of here? This sounds a little freaky.
It's possible. But I will do everything in my time for a change of surroundings. We should be going.
Albedo and that traveler seem to have hit it off. Takes a weirdo to know one, I guess. I wonder, does this constitute a risk to
Question. After the seed sprouts, will it grow?
I don't know. But I feel the importance will lie in them using alchemy to awaken otherworldly life into that would after awakening. Even creation. Still,
No! Paimon's got a brain! But what's the seed gonna become? Isn't that more...
Well, if it turns out to be a delicious fruit, dinner's on...
Yay! Paimon's holding you to it.
Well, let's just say I, occasionally have to look after a child. Another lengthy explanation, I'm afraid. The subject of my first research was the elements. In this world, manipulating the elements requires a vision. How you're able to freely manipulate elemental power is something I'd like to ascertain. I've got a few... Firstly, do you have any extra organs? A second heart? Fascinating. And this floating child is...
What a stupid question! Can't you see the gap between us? And another thing, it's Paimon!
I was merely considering the possibility that you were an external organ. Perhaps there is... Oh, that rules out that possibility. But that would mean that Paimon's elemental power would be enough to break through a mountain rock at least 10 meters thick. Or cause the waterfalls...
Hey! How would you know?
In that case, it would appear that there's no obvious difference between the... Given that there's clearly a discrepancy in the research, it seems that only... Firstly, this mysterious elemental power. Let me lure a few slimes to the area. Perhaps you'd be able to defeat them, using what...
Huh? Doesn't seem...
Direct and clear observation are imperative to a good experiment. This is just naturally, if you require a greater challenge, we could bring...
Slimes! Slimes are fine!
Well, prepare yourself.
Oh, so sorry.
There is no escape! Now you shall perish!
Boba, get them!
What's the hurry? Dodge this! Freeze!
Out of the frying pan, into the fire!
Cool it! Don't get frostbite!
Shine down!
Freeze! Dodge this! Freeze!
Rain outlines your fate. Let me...
Cool it!
You're toast!
What's the dodge this?
There is no escape!
Great work. Did you feel anything out of the... If you're injured, I have a few emergency potions ready. Excellent. According to my observations, the manifestation of the external elemental flow is as expected. Now that we know that the external flow is manifesting normally,
Internal flow? How do you test that?
it's very simple. I can use alchemy to create... If the elemental power is stored or accumulated physically within your body, this potion...
Sounds kinda terrifying.
Don't worry. In the normal course of events, you'd feel some temporary queasiness.
And in the...
If anything unexpected occurs, I've made the necessary preparations. Well, it's not that there aren't any risks involved. But if there is any... Just a warning. If an internal elemental reaction occurs for any other reason, that's a bad sign. Yes, that's an excellent way to think about it. Before we get started, the potion we'll use... It's a type of ore known as star silver. But unfortunately, I'll take you to my campsite. We can gather some star silver ore on the way. All going to plan, we should be able to...
Paimon's still got a few... Let's keep our eyes open.
Shine down!
Cool it! This moment will be frozen in time. Don't push your luck. Dodge this!
Here. Should do for catalyst purposes.
Freeze!
There is no escape!
This one. Usable with a bit of polish. What luck. This should be enough. My campsite is just up ahead. I'll lead the way. This is my campsite. I've added the material. While we are waiting, have a look over here. My assistant Timaeus here is helping me with my research. I'm guessing you...
Hello! I've just gotten hold of the data from your experiment.
Whoa! Look at all the data! You got all...
I wouldn't call them results, inferences, and a few daring guesses perhaps. I think the most rational direction would be to expound on the phylogenetic relationship between... consider. You don't have a vision, but you following this line of thought, I'm sure...
Not bad for a point of entry. But strictly speaking, slimes are elemental life forms. A cryoregisvine, or even a wildflower might be a better analogy. But tracing back the phylogenetic relationships between plants, in that sense, things might get difficult, don't you think?
Yes, sir. That sounds correct.
After all, we've got our primary data already. If it turned out that he did have a phylogenetic relationship with this world...
Ah, it would. Apologies. I was so excited. Speaking of data, to complete our research, we'll need some more. I'll be conducting analysis here for the time.
Great, I'll leave you to it. Looks like the potion's ready. I'll try a little first. In line with my expectations. Ready to drink. Remember to keep calm at all times, and breathe deeply if you feel unwell.
Tasty? You've got a funny look on your face. You said you tried some already. You sure it was ready? What?
Oh, this was the result I was expecting. This potion channels elemental power into the body. Under normal but if the internal elemental flow is unimpeded, you'll only experience momentary discomfort.
So you knew you'd be sick and still drank some?
It was my own concoction, of course. Only natural for me to be the guinea pig. But of course, you're my assistant. By all sense and in conclusion, I'd say we have our conclusion. As far as elemental energy is concerned, you're no different from...
Aw, Paimon wanted something cooler to...
Then again, better an ordinary result than a peculiar result. Peculiar results have a tendency to be of... The good thing about ordinary is that everything is an object of reference, and everyone understands you. People are the same, they can understand, empathize. When you're sick, a doctor can diagnose you because they are you. When something goes wrong, you can ask people who've... But a peculiar person, they don't have much... For example, a human can't understand the life of a pyroregisvine, or an eye of the storm. To sum up, this has been a positive outcome. Going forward, you can use your... Timaeus, the results of the new experiment are out. If you...
Just a moment, sir. I'll handle it. Oh, you gave me a lot to consider. Really stretched my limit. Having you down as an animal wasn't very precise of me. But starting with the premise of an elemental life form? Now...
Not bad. I think it's an interesting line of inquiry. Whatever the truth of the matter, I'd like...
You can count on me, sir. I'll extract...
Is he trying to join the Knights? He's starting to sound like... what Paimon meant to say was... That's the spirit! Mr. Albedo...
Before we can proceed with our research, if you're interested, why not have a look around? It may...
Here comes Albedo! Let's go see him!
I'm back. Did you see anything interesting? Not to worry. They're all for alchemical purposes. Well, on with the research. There may be significant differences between different worlds. Take Tevat, for example. Here, those with visions can manipulate the element, but worlds may well exist where only one person is able to do so. Or even ever so, leaving elements to one side. Do you possess any? I think answering this question calls for the same methodology as last time. In other words, time for the— No. You shan't be required. Now, see this pillar here? Use your willpower to try and break it. That was your best effort?
What's with the disappointment? Isn't that like...
Have you tried using your elemental power with food? I don't mean for cooking as such. Rather, I'm curious to see how the taste and texture respond. It may even help with proliferation. I suppose I have a curiosity for things. Anyway, why don't you cook us up a sunshine sprat?
Cooking? Paimon was looking forward to more...
Not only is this recipe a staple for me, it's also worth experimenting with.
Paimon bets you're just... It does sound yummy, though. Okay, Good buddies are...
I'll leave you to it then. Looking forward to the if there's anything left over, maybe Timaeus can finish.
Paimon doesn't think we'll have that problem. How are we gonna channel elemental power into the food? Maybe try the willpower thing again. Where does it get these ideas from anyway?
That was fast. Looking for... An average outcome experimentally, but you've really brought out the flavor. As far as the proliferation hypothesis is concerned, we've come up short. Seems like food present... Unless... Could it be that the natural laws of this...
We just didn't know how to channel elemental power into the food. It's a little more...
Not to worry. At least we put some food to good use. No need to feel disheartened. And here's your portion. Enjoy.
Woohoo! Thanks! Glad you were paying attention.
I can tell that you're good friends. Paimon was keeping an eye on you and your safety during the whole experiment. Not that Paimon would have been able to do much if things had gone wrong.
Hey! You were being nice a second ago! But you do have tasty recipes, so... Paimon, and you're right, we are good friends. You have good friends...
Yes. I'm fortunate too, I suppose. There are all manner of alchemical items here. Keeping them in their proper place is a challenge at the best of times. I managed to retrieve the majority, but 2 vials have been evading me. Animal crystal fly elemental extract.
Paimon's barely finished eating and you want us to go get...
Don't worry if you can't locate them. I was planning to replace them anyway. Though finding them would... If you had, say, superpower, like night vision or vibratory sensing, I must have dropped them somewhere in the area.
So, guess we'd better take a look. Oh yeah! You could use elemental... This must be electrohypostasis powder! The extract of an animo crystal fly can only be animo element...
Goodness, you managed to find them. I'm wondering, this elemental site...
Yep, guess it does sort of count as...
Unfortunately, though elemental sight only a never-before-seen otherworldly power would...
You mean we failed it?
Don't be disheartened. This falls entirely within my expectations. Besides, I have to commend your deduction that the items would contain... Right then. Up until now, our research has focused on your otherworldly identity. In essence, the differences between humans are reflected in our intellect. Looking out from where we're standing, can you see what Sucrose is doing? And if you jump from here and landed on that cliff, the one over there. So what about if you planted a single blow on the mountain face here, and it burst? Then I shouldn't get too excited. Still, I know of a location that will be perfect for a physical test.
Still in one piece! Good thing the vial's so strong! To jump from a...
Not necessarily. Not if you know of a better method, that is. Whichever method you choose, the experiment will end when you reach the opposite shore of the lake. I will factor the time expended and your top speed into my comparative...
The opposite side of the lake. So, we're gonna be swimming?
Without limitations, we complete tasks intuitively, using the method that seems... Some of us would be unable to stand the icy waters. Others might find... No matter what choice you make, it's all a part of the experiment. Then if you would, please, I eagerly await the result.
Wait a minute! While we're busy testing, what exactly are you gonna be doing?
Me? Recording data, responding to risks, providing... emotional support.
So if we do decide to go swimming, you gonna dive in with us?
No. Unless you're thinking of conducting competitive research?
Oh! Forget Paimon said anything.
Great work. I've never seen a performance. Your reputation precedes you, traveler. The data shows that you're easily...
But you followed us the whole way without breaking us...
Me? Actually, I used alchemy. If it turns out that the natural laws of Tavad do not affect you, I should be able to make various... If the natural laws of Tavad do affect you, then I shall be able to make inferences, the innumerable possibilities that this could present.
But how does this help your research?
You've helped me to unravel many of the problems that were holding it back. When we return to the campsite, I may be about to make some analogies between you and a few gold, petrified trees. A sun ate. The essence of the investigative process is enthralling. I'm willing to pour all my energy into research, and yet specimens are finite. All these things that start out as objects of fascination end up possessing the prosaic mundanity of us.
Oh, so that's why you wanted to paint those hilly turtles? Because you got to see some...
Precisely. To quote my exact words from earlier, these...
So after all these experiments, are we gonna be like...
Of course not. You have been of great assistance to me. And now, before we head back to the campsite, follow me. There are some other ruins nearby.
What's the hurry? The wind.
I imagine you must have encountered more than a few conundrums during your trip. I'd like to observe your intelligence by means of a practical test of your capabilities. Much as we did for the... I'd like you to explore these ruins and return with your... There are 2 puzzles located at the far ends of the ruins. As with the physical test, there are no restrictions. Everything you do is an action I wish. A tried and tested adventurer, So, let's see you in action.
What's that?
It's a complex environment, so proceed with caution. Sealy like these are a common sight in the mountains. Returning them to their rightful places is up to you.
Inazuma shines eternal!
Free!
No, my sword!
Dodge this!
Boba, get them!
Freeze! This moment will be frozen in time. Cool it! Freeze!
It should now be possible to activate the central mechanism. Exactly what will happen when you do is something I'm looking forward to finding out.
Hey! Explaining things is Paimon's job!
Dodge this!
Out of the frying pan, into the...
What's the hurry? Freeze! Don't get frostbite!
Illusion shattered! Now you shall perish!
Oh, seems that the water level has suddenly decreased. We should be able to see what's in the water now. Let's have a look. What's this? To the best of my knowledge, these belong to a script of some kind. There's still a lot to learn about them. And as for why this, let me make a copy first. I'll make time to go over them in great...
Another thing for the don't understand list. Unsolvable seems like if you want the reward, you...
I've truly gained a lot from all this. Comparatively. The little reward... Let me return to the campsite first. By the time you get back, I may just have a fleeting miracle for you to witness.
Paimon's kinda looking forward to seeing the results of all... Unless you can think of anything better to do...
Not so fast. You're not leaving until I'm convinced that nothing...
You! You didn't leave them out...
I most certainly did not. And I must say, you let your guards down. Or maybe you were drawn in by his compelling-sounding hypothesis and friendly demeanor. Taking orders from a complete stranger? Drinking anonymous I'd sooner believe you were tricked than that you would be so naive. Or perhaps...
Sister Rosaria's guard's so high, she can't even see over the top of it!
It doesn't matter what you think. He could be a saint for all you know. But I'm only concerned with one thing. Whether his alchemy has...
No way! Paimon would have sensed it! And anyway...
With an alchemist of his level, you wouldn't sense a thing. In any case, I'm not about to let a potential...
So... what are you gonna do?
I've gotta hand it to you. You have your moments. I've investigated everything else.
But we don't even know what they...
That much is true. But for insurance purposes, I'd better make a copy. Now then, all things considered, which is what I was hoping. I would have been one...
Overtime?
Before we go our separate ways, Outlander, a word of advice. Don't be so quick to trust Albedo, and don't repeat the same mistakes that you did this time. You made a lot of rash decisions today.
She's gone! Mondstadt doesn't have many people like that. Huh. Never mind.
You're back. Good timing. I've just about reached the conclusion. You took quite a while. Did you get held up on time for the results? We got a myriad of data today, and it was very but the integral preliminary conclusion that I can offer you is...
You couldn't tell that just by looking? We spent all day working our butts off for that?
Please, I understand that this may have seemed self-evident to you, but in fact, have you ever considered that the world of Teyvat may have a natural hostility to Outlanders? I mentioned the natural laws of this world. You're able to converse with me here without consequence, and nothing seems amiss. The only other life form that, like you, has come here from afar. But after I observed you, imitating you helped to inspire my alchemy. And so...
Whoa! It looks like something's appearing!
The transition from nothing into something, from shoot to stem. And now to... is not nurturing otherworldly life also nurturing the world itself? It would seem that that's as far as we go. A transient bloom of...
Paimon thought, with all our efforts, it might have bloomed forever, and it didn't even have any fruit.
Life is a manifold tapestry of free entities. Its value shouldn't derive from how long it stays with us. Even a short life can be well lived. A life lived efficiently. So, do you understand what I meant about us conversing here arguably being a small miracle?
Things feel a little... Don't be sad. Albedo, Paimon really wants to be your friend.
Thank you both. Even if dispelling loneliness is not essential for life, your help inspired me to discover the means to make a flower bloom. I mean that the time I've spent traveling with you in the mountains was a valuable journey. In the future, if the need arises, can I solicit your help? Well, I made a point throughout of telling him how ordinary the results were. But what was that sediment I saw forming at the bottom of the vial? Those born of earth are bound by its imperfections, but those born of chalk are free of impurities. You and I, if, one day, I lose control, can I rely on you to stop me?